Hello YouTube. Now, I am an absolutely enormous fan of two different series about Batman. The two series, as you can see by the little title, are Batman the Animated Series and Batman. Now, I know what you're thinking. Which one's better? You're thinking, it's obvious, isn't it? Well, yes, but by how much? I'm going to go through a series of categories which I've thought of, basically every category I could think of, to determine which absolutely, concretely is the best Batman series. These categories are: which has the best Joker, which has the best Rogues Gallery in general, excluding the Joker, who I've kept as separate simply because he is effectively the antithesis of Batman. Which one has the best story arc? Which one has the best music and theme tune? Which one has the best supporting characters that help Batman? And last but not least, which one has the best Batman? So, without further ado, welcome to my review. So, firstly, talking about the Joker. Now, I'm firstly going to say that both of these Jokers have very similar, albeit somewhat vague, backstories. The Joker that I'm first going to talk about is the one from The Batman. This one I really liked. The voice acting by Kevin Michael Richardson is absolutely brilliant.
Woodsy, you sentenced me to life in a loony bin! Detectives, you arrested me! Shame on you! Badly, how many times do I have to tell you? I hate macaroni and cheese!
And the character is probably the most insane of all the Jokers we've ever had. His general aim, as you see in his backstories, is just to make people laugh.
Oh, where do I begin? I guess for as long as I remember, I always wanted to make people laugh.
Which he says was his aim before he got dunked into a chemical bath. And thus, his schemes are generally less selfish, as it were, than the latter Joker, often involving Joker gas to make people happy, make them laugh, and freeze this awful expression on their faces permanently unless they are given the antidote. Basically, he's all in all more insane, but because his crimes are done with the aim of making you happy, even if you die laughing, because that if you die laughing, it's fun, he thinks. He's all in all less selfish, as it were. But he's just insane.
Smiles, people! Smiles!
The balloon's filled with Joker gas, and he's gonna pop it.
But he does still do things for monetary value, and he will kill on a whim. For example, in one episode, he actually went around and pretended to be Batman.
Huh? Joker? I'm a Batman. You see, the thing is, you're not.
Took out criminals, i.e. people who occasionally littered, committed minor traffic offences, or drew a hopscotch thing on, drew a hopscotch, whatever that's called, the thing that hopscotches are, drew one of those on some tarmac, he will arrest you. Or, well, he won't arrest you, he will attack you with his Joker venom, and may or may not kill you. As you can see, he kills the mayor's wife with it.
My wife? Sheila? What have you done to Sheila?
11 items at a 10-item grocery checkout. She had it coming.
Sheila! Sheila!
And then he demands that the mayor pays him for services to the city, assuming that he was doing so to Batman.
Bill for services rendered? $1 million? What?
Crime fighting ain't charity work, you know.
And if the city doesn't comply?
Then Gotham pays dearly.
He even attacks Batman with this toxin and tries to turn Batman into his own Joker whilst he becomes the Batman. It's just mad. This character is insane, and I love this character. I'm just not so much of a fan of his actual appearance, because the Joker is a human, and this Joker, he looks more like an alien than he does a human. His jaw's all jagged, it sticks out, his teeth are green and they seem to fuse, and he has one big tooth in the middle like Tom Cruise, which really just distracts you from everything. But my goodness, that voice is awesome.
Medical report. Scott, you had a bad accident. You're a very sick man. Flattery won't save you. Consider me an outpatient.
Mark Hamill's Joker similarly combines the clown with the killer extremely well. I mean, superbly well. To the extent that he's almost a chameleon of words. Just watch this coming scene. I'm about to show you his first ever speaking part in Batman the Animated Series, and the number of different, effectively, personas that he puts on in order to intimidate you the most and get you to do his bidding is amazing. Just watch.
There's your 2 cents. Now, what are you going to do to me?
Listen, I'm sorry, really. I had a bad day. Boss turned down my raise and...
Now look, my rude friend. We can't have people cursing at each other on the freeway. It's simply not polite. I'm just going to have to teach you some manners.
Please don't. I have a family, a wife, a little boy. Please, I'll do anything to make it up. Anything.
Anything, says you? Uh-huh. Okie dokie. Wallet.
Oh, sure. I don't have much cash.
No, please, don't insult me. Charles Michael Collins. That's you. Lousy picture, though. Lousy. Address, height, weight, blah, blah, blah. Righty. Oh, chuckers. Here's the deal. I'll let you off if you promise to do a little favor for me.
Oh, okay. What?
I don't know. I haven't thought of it yet. You just toddle on back to your mundane, meaningless little life, and when I need you, I'll call. There? Good. Great. I'll be in touch.
He's just a master of getting anyone to do what he wants them to do. He's a wordsmith, but unlike the previous Joker I mentioned, while this guy is still insane, and while he's still very much a clown, he's not interested in making you laugh. You being happy is not his goals. He's much more selfish. He's much more greed-oriented. And if he can torment you, if he can cause fear, he will take joy and humour from that. He is an extremely twisted character, and I think the best way of showing how twisted he is just showing how he reacts to apparently certain death. See that? That is just the laugh, it's just so... The voice Mark Hamill provides for the Joker is just spot on perfect, and it somehow he even gets it better it even gets better than perfect somehow as it goes on. It's just brilliant. And this Joker as well manages to scare you as a viewer at times. Just his version of his version of London Bridge, which was in an episode of Justice League he was the main villain of, set in the same continuity, so I'm still counting it. His episode of London Bridge is just terrifying.
Big old Bats has fallen down on the ground. Mind unsound. Big old Bats has fallen down. I'm so happy.
And also, he is a lot more abusive towards Harley Quinn than the previous Joker, who, if anything, seemed really rather affectionate towards her.
You always take shots from folks who just don't get the joke.
Now, there are... Actually, I can't think of any real negatives with this Joker. And one thing, he really, really likes to get at Batman as hard as possible. And his last ever scheme, as you'll see in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, is so messed up, so horrific, that it's just... You cannot imagine it being worse. I mean, he kidnaps Robin and uses various chemicals and electric shock therapy on him, and turns Robin into Joker Jr. I mean, it's just horrific, and he even secretly puts his consciousness and his DNA into Robin, so that allows himself to cheat death by riding inside Robin's mind. It's just brilliant. And listen to this Joker's reaction, well, his taunt towards Bruce Wayne in reaction to finding out his secret identity. It's just awesome.
I'll begin with how I peeled back the layers of the boy's mind. You would have been proud to see him so strong. But all too soon, the serums and the shocks took their toll, and the dear lad began to share such secrets with me. Secrets that are mine alone to know. Bruce. It's true, Batsy. I know everything. And I must admit, it's sadly anticlimactic. Behind all the sturm and batarangs, you're just a little boy in a play suit crying for mommy and daddy. It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
I don't think there's much question about it. Even though he's the less insane of the two, he's the most Joker. He's got an X factor, a creep, an awesomeness, and the perfect laugh. I don't think that Kevin Michael Richardson quite got the laugh right. Mark Hamill's laugh is perfect. His voice is perfect, and I will say quite happily that he is the better Joker. So, anyone disagree with me?
I'll have you know I'm the greatest version of Joker there's ever been.
I thought someone would. Now, when I say that Hamill's Joker is the best Joker, and I want it to be clear, I'm not saying that Kevin Michael Richardson's Joker didn't work. I think they both worked brilliantly in their shows. And I think the reasons that they both worked were that they managed to accurately perfectly fuse the clown with the killer. Too often on shows, Jokers really don't work because they're either too much clown that you say really can't imagine them beating Jason Todd with a crowbar and then blowing the warehouse up. Jeff Bennett's Joker, for example. But then there are other Jokers which go so far into just being a complete psycho that it kind of ruins the point in them being the Joker. They're not the clown prince of crime anymore. They're just a typical psychopath.
Always wanted to carve this bird.
So these Jokers work really well in both shows because they're neither of these. Anyhow, I've gone way over time with part 1 of this review, considering I was supposed to be talking about the whole show, and I was only intending to talk about Joker for about 4 minutes, and I'm way past that now. So that's all in part 1. That's all for part 1. Tune in to part 2, where I will be giving a brief, hopefully brief, overview of the rest of the Rogues Gallery, and also of the supporting characters.